All right. Hello and welcome to Per Aspera ad Astra. Let's go. It's a game about terraforming Mars, and we're going to go ahead and play it now that it has the Home DLC and the Blue Mars DLC. This is a game that takes a lot of time to play, quite frankly. So as we get going, I might do more cuts than I typically do when I'm recording a game, but that's fine because it's sometimes fun just to see the terraform happen over time. The idea of this game is that you're sent as like a general AI to Mars, and you need to basically use your starting resources to build a self-sustaining like colony, and then sustain it so that you can actually bring humans to the planet. They'll research additional techs. There's a lot of logistics involved, which I actually like a lot. You can see here we have Valley Marineris with Noctis. You can see the Loctis Labyrinths, Arceamon, some big places that you might recognize from Terraforming Mars, Hugin's Crater. If we go into the Southern Wilds, let's see, will it actually call it out as Hellas? Certainly there's the ice sheet down here. This is like when you're playing the game Hellas Planitia. So this is Southern Wilds. If you're playing Terraforming Mars, you can see this here is where the reserved ocean tiles would be in the top left, a little titanium one, and then all of the oceans in that little zone here. So if you're wondering wherever the Terraforming Mars board game kind of comes from for that, that's what people are talking about. This is Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the galaxy, I say in the galaxy, in the solar system. And let's see, it doesn't really look as cool as the board game version, because the board game version basically puts all the oceans along the top and then down, but they leave room in here as if you could go around this area. So it's not quite as true to form. Do I need to hit pause? I need to hit pause. We are already a month and 19 days in. So I don't know. Part of me thinks you go for the classic Noctis City start. The other half of me thinks, hey, like there's 3 card draw when you play the game in Terraforming Mars at Olympus Mons. So maybe we'll come over here. And we'll choose kind of this quadrant. Oh, actually, no. They actually tell you where some of the resources are. So in that case, there's Noctis, and there is a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe we'll start kind of near Noctis, but we'll pick the southern part of it, which is cool. This is where all like the plants are. There's like a titanium ocean if you're playing the board game. So yeah, so maybe I don't really want to drop right in it. So I'm thinking like, oh, I guess you could. This land is so battered with craters. It's not like beautiful like the stuff up here. So maybe we'll do this Icaria Planitia, and we'll try and grow our way up to Noctis. I don't know if we're going to have a problem with elevation and like water. Because certainly all this will flood. It's in dark. So let's come in here. And so this game works in an interesting way. You start with a little base. It has all your starting resources, and you have one like robot, and basically we need to get it so that we can get all the way up to the point where we can build worker factories so that we can replace our robots as they get consumed. We'll need to make food and all kinds of other stuff. We need parts and steel. But basically at the start, you're looking for some mines and some worker hubs and some other generic stuff. A maintenance facility, for instance. But we're just trying to get started here. So I'm seeing that we have like aluminoids. Usually you can click on it and just be like, hey, I want this. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've played. So it looks like a parts factory needs steel, carbon, and like aluminum pieces. Is there... Yeah, aluminum, carbon. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot. So basically, let's get started with this aluminum mine, a silicon mine, basically all the basics, and then a carbon. And you can see here, it's going to create like roads along the planet for our worker to actually move things along and build these places up. So I'm going to get started with a handful of mines, and then we will get cooking on the next phase of the game. Alright, so our robot has... Oh, command list. No, thank you. Our robot has built our basic buildings here. So we've got our silicon mine, our carbon mine, our aluminum mine, and our iron mine. This one isn't actually built yet, but it's missing a couple resources. Those resources could be things like, I don't know, steel. So let's go ahead and make sure we add one of these in. Steel needs inputs from carbon and from iron mine. So we're going to go ahead and try and put it in the middle of these two locations. Another thing to consider here is that we also need power. And I can see here that our power, we are using more and more and more at this point. So we're going to need more of that ASAP. We could build that kind of off in the distance. Looks like we're getting 40 megawatts of power basically anywhere. We could even build it right here beside everything because it's not overlapping. Now the benefit to putting it out here is that, see this big ring around it, this big lightning bolt ring? That means you'll be able to power other buildings in the future off of that infrastructure. So let's go ahead and hit start and let that continue to go, because we are going to need the power. In fact, I'll put this as high priority, because even if we build the steel factory, we basically won't be able to use it. So now we have the iron being mined. That means that we should have enough like resources to build these factories, which is nice. We're at a -5 power. I believe that impacts you by just lowering the efficiency of like your whole colony, basically. And what are we trying to do here? So basically I'm building a bunch of mines and stuff so I can get factories and I can just get some basic self-sufficiency. But after that, our goal will be to terraform the planet. What a surprise. We're on Mars. What are we doing on Mars? We're terraforming. And the first stage of the terraform is to create a runaway terraforming effect by raising the temperature to -50 degrees Celsius. So you can see here, the temperature is at -57. It's not really anything going on here. It's going to probably alternate up and down. But if we can go ahead, right, and add carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, and ozone to the mix, that's going to help. We also have pressure that we want to add here. And again, things are deviating up and down throughout the seasons. But those are really the two first things that we need to get up and running, mostly just the heat. So we got to heat the planet. And to do that, we need to have a bit of an economy set up so that we can grow beyond just having one worker that is currently driving around to move everything, to construct everything. It's just not super efficient. You know, we need lots of workers moving lots of things. And right now we also only have one charging station down here at our base. So what I'll want to do is like come over here and take the core facility. Oh God, where are you? It's not the maintenance. It's the workers hub. I need to build a workers hub to give us an additional location to charge. And maybe I want to put it here between all these mines, or potentially over here, because we're going to be carrying lots of carbon and iron around. Having one of these in here is going to help. Just make our guy not have to come all the way down here to charge. But again, finishing off a solar farm so that we can turn on all these buildings and work our way up to a parts factory, which takes aluminum and steel, which again, we have an aluminum mine, we have a steel factory. That's going to be fine. Then the parts factory will move to a worker factory, and that needs glass, carbon, aluminum, and parts. So I also need a glass kiln. The glass kiln will take, I think this is the silicon mine. So yeah, basically I need to have 3 different factory chains built, right? Glass, parts, steel. I don't think I need polymers, thankfully. And then that will allow me to build other workers, and then we'll start building up exponentially as we build around. And like I said, we can go and find additional resources on the map. We can look at our production rates. You can see here, everything we have is trending up and in the green, and we're storing it. And then very soon we will move around the planet and start doing lots of things. So let me pause for now, and I'll come back once I have those factories built. All right. We are like 12 months later. We have 4 workers up and running around the map. I think I can click this. No, you can just see the workers over time. And yeah, and it's pretty cool. There's lots of things going on. I can click traffic and see these workers kind of working their different hubs. I'm limited on the number of workers based on the number of charging hubs that I've created. So I have one here, yeah, these worker hubs. You can identify them quickly with these satellite dishes. So you can see the load that they have on the network. Some of them are busier than others. Yeah, basically they're running around. We have 2 solar panels, which is currently pretty good for us. And then we have our worker hub down here. I said that this needed parts, glass, aluminum, and carbon. I was wrong. It's not carbon. It's actually electronics. So I had to build an electronics factory as well. But basically at this point, we're good to get our eyes towards getting our first colony. The thing about the colony is it needs food, right? Not only does it need food, it needs water, which for us is going to be ice right now. So, and then the food factory needs ice and this looks like polymer. So we need a chemical plant, and the chemical plant, I guess it just extracts minerals from a deposit somewhere. So we need to go find chemicals, which we have down here. And then we need to go find ice, which we have a huge ice deposit over here, apparently, in this region. The problem with this one is we don't have enough roads to get to it yet. So what we'll have to do is double check. We do have the power, so we'll just build a workers hub in between to try and connect over. And our workers will kind of work together to move the resources around, stockpile it, and we will be happy. Now, another thing that we're going to need to go with our colony is, yes, power to power it, but also basic colony with capacity. We also need a spaceport to actually bring people here and back, like from Earth. And that's going to cost a lot of electronics, parts, steel, and everything else. So that's fine. If I click here, sometimes you can see just all the stuff coming in. But this is why I was worried about settling in this area, because it's so cratered that like getting something simple like a spaceport built is going to be pretty tricky. Let's make sure that this is given pretty high priority so that this worker hub can connect here. Also, once the worker hub's built, we can have more workers. But I am, I believe, limited on the number of structures I can own this early in the game. Another thing to consider too is some of these mines are like deep veins versus shallow. So this only has 1,200 resources and this has 6,000. So as the game goes on, we're going to want to find more and more resources. We also can get a scanner to scan the ground and find resource deposits, but we know that there's like big hints of ice over here, silicon here, iron down there, chemicals to our east. So like we're naturally going to grow in those directions and build up better and better logistics. But for now, we do have an ice mine that's going to be built, and that's going to help us in combination with our chemical plant, help us start making some food, which again, I can kind of split the difference here so that it's easier for these things to move around. And then we'll try and get those first humans onto the planet. A couple other map modes that we have here is the power one, so you can quickly at a glance see where all your energy is coming from, where it's being consumed. We can see the maintenance of the buildings, so clearly I'm going to need some repairs to get started quickly before I get way behind. There's the scanners, which I need to get to start looking for deposits. We'll build one of those soon. And then there's some environmental things. So we're actually located in a very cold, almost -60 location. You can look at the different biomes. This looks like it's a polar biome versus... Oh, all of the biomes are polar, but we're not at high altitude, at least for now. There are dust storms out here in the plains. And then there's also humidity. And right now there's just wind, basically, currents that we can see. And you can see how it really pulls into the equator a lot. It's where there's a lot of wind. It's also coming out of like this polar sink. I don't know what that's really going to mean for us. As we pollute, our stuff will follow that path. So for now, let me jump into here and let's see if we can get those first colonists coming in. All right, checking in to say that basically we hit a huge bottleneck, but we're finally coming out of it. If I click the maintenance, you can see I had a whole bunch of buildings in the red starting to shut down, and I had a huge aluminum shortage and also a lack of electrical components. Actually, of all the manufactured good, electronics seem to be the hardest, but now we finally have these little repair drones going out and repairing things. So we're going from basically red on our entire base to finally being, I would say, completely sustainable. Now the structures are strong, and if I look at the individual rovers, you can see they also have, if I slow this down, they also have a like readiness, so right now they're splitting up the areas into 5 different zones so they can carry the load basically, but they'll slowly work themselves down to death. But that's okay because we have a worker factory that has one ready to go right now. So as soon as one shuts down, a new one will be dispatched basically, and we just need to get our research going basically. Oh, actually, no, we can have 6 now. So this one is just waiting on a aluminum, the raw resource that I'm short on. Now, I'm actually really low on a lot of resources at this point. Like my mine only has 500 units left to basically mine for iron, for instance. So there's a few things that we can do. One, we don't have the deep iron mine for this, and we need lots of mines. So the next plan is to actually get up scanners. So I'm building a scanner here and here. The problem with the scanners is they require 8 electronics. Again, one of the things that we're really struggling to get. But once we have the 8 electronics, we'll feel a lot better. We're also down to less than 400 carbon. So yeah, we really need to find some additional resources. So a scanner on this side and a scanner on this side will help us turn more locations into this white. Excuse me. And another thing that we can get doing, I need to up my power income. I really do, because right now I have a lot of buildings paused, like even the glass kiln and the spaceport. But we can do space projects. So some of the space projects that we have are like, hey, bring people from Earth, colonist migration. But what I'm actually going to do first is unlock this tile, S4 or SA-4, and that'll give us kind of a new satellite colony that hopefully we can connect, especially when we get better technologies like hyperloops and monorails or whatnot. We can really connect them well. But we can start a little colony up here and unlock all that terrain, because I don't really want to just stay in this bottom hemisphere. I do want to migrate up and see the glory that is the Noctis Labyrinth and the Valley Marineris that will one day become Lake Marineris. Another thing to mention too is that there's also, like, in the lore of this game, colonization of Mars tried to happen before, but it was abandoned. So you can see here there's actually like some abandoned Martian resorts and other things on the planet, all these little points of interest. Abandon this, abandon that, and we can go and either reboot them or send our scientists to figure out what's going on, because we're one faction trying to colonize and terraform the planet, where in the story there's a lot of other factions that get involved. So all that to say that we've gotten through some of the early economy bootstrapping. Now we just need to find more resources to be truly sustainable, as find more things to mine, and get some more power, of course. And then, yeah, and then we should be good to bring people in. We're building up a huge food stockpile. We have a lot of ice and water. So basically, we're good to bring people in. The only thing that's holding me back is that if I do run out of resources, they're all going to die. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, quick check-in to say that our first scanner has been built. And you can see it working now. It has a very fast scan rate to locations close to itself. And then as it gets further and further out, it'll get slower and slower. So it's always a benefit to build these in kind of separate areas and let them work on the areas that they're fast themselves. Later game, you might be incentivized to destroy some old ones once you've done a whole area and build new ones on the periphery of your area. But sometimes you can just be lazy, build a bunch in one spot, and let them slowly scan the whole world. Even if it's inefficient, sometimes you're just busy getting everything else up and running that it doesn't really matter that it's slow, because it's not your critical path. Oh, as we see here, coming in and out of the in and out of the season apparently is really hurting us. For the summertime and the wintertime, we get less sun. And because our economy is so much further oriented to sun power, we're going to have to really make sure our game focuses on getting our very limited aluminum, it would seem. It's still really the problem, our aluminum, because it's needed in so many processes to get our power up and running. One other thing I wanted to mention too is like we can now have enough data to look back like 100 months and we can see the temperature fluctuations based on the base temperature, and you can see our CO2 is basically staying the same over time, and then our very little bit of ozone is staying the same over time. But as we add GHG and stuff, we'll start to build up like a green baseline, and our heat will actually go up and up and up. So our low temperatures of the year is like minus 57, which is tricky because it looks like it's minus 60, minus 59, okay. And then it goes up as high as 55. So we need to figure that out. We also have... Can we see the atmosphere? No, we can see... Yeah, atmosphere is also the same. There's all kinds of like nitrates, GHGs, and whatnot that we can throw in the air. So it's easy to see that fluctuate with the temperature of the planet, of the seasons. And yeah, hopefully we get things sorted out sooner rather than later. All right, well, with the scanners going, we're starting to find things like carbon and other things. We have 2 scanners working. Not finding a ton of the things we need. I really need a new iron mine, but hey, we'll take the carbon one as we get it. But since we have a stockpile of 72 food and 81 ice, and it's kind of just going up over time, I think it's finally time for us to get our very first colony. It needs water and food. I'm just going to go ahead and put it between those 2 factories, just to lighten the logistical load of our workers. And yeah, so once that's set, we should be able to go to the spaceport, tell it to start bringing in humans. And yeah, we'll actually get access to the tech tree at that point. So stay tuned. All right, I decided to cancel the project of going up into area SA4 so we can start bringing in colonists from Earth. So there we go. That's going to get moving. It doesn't cost us anything to do that. It just takes time for the shuttle to go back and forth. As we get more spaceports, we can add more projects to bring more people faster. All right, and there we go. The arrival of our very first colonists. Now, I believe that they get moved around in these like little blimps. Great, great, great. Now we get the option to go into the tech tree. So extra storage and the wind farm, and then we can also update into like higher tiers of research. I believe that at full capacity, our colony is going to give us like 50 research per year. I don't know. There's lots of things that we can research though. Advanced colonies. It's a colony that's bigger. It can house more people, more efficient. We can get additional landing sites to start new bases, which can be nice, in addition to just unlocking new territories, like more satellite coverage, more storage. So this is sometimes nice. The wind farm is interesting because it doesn't need glass, but it needs electronics. So I'm not sure that I love that. Improve roads, batteries, mines. I don't know. Biotech, superior colonies, 500 people. But see, in biotech, we have things like water supply, hey, collects water from bodies, or hey, greenhouse gas factories, love that. Water pump, extract water from bodies of water, improve its quality so it can be distributed. Interesting. So we don't have any water on the planet. Maybe we can go here to the space projects, and we can see black polar dust, spreading those around to heat up the planet faster. A mirror array. I don't know, there's so much cool stuff you can do. Aerobraked methane asteroid. Import ice from Europa. That is a huge research, way high level. Fission plants. Cool. So what do they need? We need to find uranium mines to even enable this to be allowed. But it creates 100 megawatts. That's a lot of power. Advanced mines would allow us to mine that iron that's right beside us It does cost more parts to build, but that's kind of okay. I might want to rush this because right now the thing I'm the most worried about is that connectivity. But I really like the idea of rushing greenhouse gas factories. They just require chemicals, and we're actually beside a huge chemical field, and that would help us get that GHG rising. Let's go ahead, though, and make sure we're sustainable. We're going to research engineering level 1 so that we can go after the good stuff. So, colonists. Let's see. We just saw the blimp, right? It was landing here. I don't think we get to see anybody running around. Let's do times 16. Or is that... Sorry, is this the rocket ship? And then we're going to see a different car come and carry them across. Yeah, sorry, there's the blimp. These are the blimp landing pads over here. Okay. And you do have some people here. Why does it say you're departing? Who knows? But they can come and they can go. But now we're getting 20 research points. And it looks like it takes many souls to do that. So, I don't know. Maybe the higher level colony would be better. People are allowed to leave if they don't like Mars. It wasn't as cracked up. All it was cracked up to be. All you have is some basic food and some ice that you can melt to drink. But that's how it is, I guess. It might be worth... We have so much water and food that I'm starting to think it would be worth building a second colony. The research colonies only use 50 people. I mean, it's interesting. I want to build one up here. It's technically on the other side of the red line, though. So we do need to unlock that zone. I guess, like I said, do engineering 1. Maybe it's better to do biotech and do advanced colonies. It's a much cheaper technology to rush, and then maybe the more efficient colony will be worth building as a second one. Like this one just gets us off the ground. But since we have so much ice and water and it's still trending upward, we can push for the bigger colony and not worry about our iron, which is down to 345. There still is some. Our carbon is down to 250, but we did find a carbon mine over here. I just need aluminum. Aluminum is a huge shortfall for us. Like it mines very slowly, but we do have a lot of it in reserve. We're just using so much of it. What do we need up here? We get another scanner for if we had 3 more aluminum. Let's make sure our next 3 aluminum comes up here so we can get another scanner online, because we really do need to find better resources. It looks like there's some aluminum down here. So there's a huge expanse of nothing in the middle, unfortunately. But if that's what it takes to connect to some aluminum, I guess that's what we do. I'd really like to fix the iron problem first. Oh, I don't know. And presumably there's a bunch of iron down here in the south. So maybe we should make our way down here. Just for the sake of getting closer to these iron deposits. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So I'm gonna roll out and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, rather than building a brand new colony, I've opted to upgrade the existing colony. And I think it's worth looking at, like, what's the difference between the two, right? One of them consumes, like, in terms of building cost, this one takes 2, 2, and 2, and then the larger one takes 6, 6, and 6. So you actually, are going from 100 to 250 people. Technically, you have 50 less people in a ratio than you would want. However, despite having 50 less people, you still get 3 times the research amount. So the capital invested is perfect. And then the consumption of 2 food and 2 water, instead of 2 food and 2 water, it's 5 and 5, because it's only, a 2.5 times increase in people. So you get, for a lower operating cost of food, you get more research out of it, I guess. So that's a big win. We're happy with that. We have enough water being created that I'd actually like to build a second colony. The problem is I don't really have a convenient place to put it. I guess you can put it up here. And if that kills us because we don't have enough food and water, then we'll panic when we get there. We do need more chemicals, but the chemicals are needed to create food, and we have a huge amount of food. So if this starts to dip below like 100 and we start seeing it at 50, well, we have all these chemical mines over here to really start exploiting. So we're working towards that. That's great. We're also working towards this engineering. Wait, why are we working towards engineering? Oh, yeah, so that we can get the advanced mines. And that will help us unlock some of these mining areas because, again, our iron is down to like 250. Oh, a building limit. Lovely. When you upgrade some of these things, you get another bonus. I didn't know that. Building limit, building limit. Space, what does this do? Spaceport limit. And biotech gives you colonist limit. I wonder what our colonist limit is right now, because we certainly have more than that. 250. Oh, well, there's no point in us building another colony, apparently, unless I get this. Interesting. Do we want to? Or do I take this engineering? I think we do the advanced mine first. No, it's only 150. Let's get this now, because we are building the advanced colony number 2 alongside it, and I want people to get in it. So these guys are going to research the ability to get a second colony up and running, and then we will do just that. So lovely, lovely. I need to tell my people to focus on constructing some of these buildings down here, because we need to move south. Because there's lots of stuff down here. There's aluminum, which has been our bottleneck forever. There's more iron. There's a lot of good stuff. There's also a potential silicon mine up here. The problem is that I've incentivized them delivering all the aluminum we get to the parts factory because we didn't have parts for the longest time, and it was really slowing down our worker production. I'm going to turn that off now that we have a little cap of 10 parts in the bucket. We can also turn off the need for electronics. I should have done this forever ago, because that's really what's eating a lot of my aluminum. I always like having the factory, like the production facility, maxed out, though, in terms of priority. Because if ever you find yourself in a death spiral of workers coming offline, right now they're all in pretty good shape, but this is a whole new batch of workers. A minute ago, I was down to 4 workers. It touched 3, I think, for a second, and then bobbed back up to 4. So I was really limiting my ability to actually produce and in a little bit of a death spiral. So it was good that we got those parts back up and running and were able to close the loop. But yeah, we got a mine up here, we've got a mine up here, and then we have a whole pathway of things that we need to build so that we can connect to this aluminum mine. And then we will be looking fancy. I'd also love to get this thing in a maintenance area. It's not in one right now, but there's no reason to really invest in it because there's no mines or resources up here. The only thing that there is the abandoned research base, which would be nice to connect to at one point, but it doesn't feel like it should be my focus. So I can go for the greenhouse gas factories, or I can go for the mine. I'm going to go for the advanced mine first, just because, again, I'm nervous about the iron. I'm excited about the idea of being able to get chemical plants, like these chemical mines. So that'll make my life a lot easier for iron and chemicals. And then I can always come down here and get more iron in a deep vein. Like, I just seem to only be finding deep veins of the things that I'm short on, unfortunately. It'll just help more in the future anyway. We also have to look around and be like, okay, there's ice over here. There's aluminum up here. A lot of ice, carbon. This is a cute little triple. Not a ton of things that we don't see. I also don't see any uranium. I guess that's not revealed until you get there. We certainly don't want to build up here, because this whole dark area will be the first to flood. But wouldn't it be fun to go to, like, Hellas and, you know, do what you can? It's always tricky when there are, like, all these points of interest out here. But then when the water level rises, it's hard to get to them. So I don't know if now with the blue expansion you can do that, but we will see. Still, advanced mines first, and then we will have a good time going after our first terraforming to really start heating the planet. So excited for that. All right, so we're starting to get more colonists in. We got 50 here, 245 there, 300 almost total. And our food is dipping. And we can see here that our potential production is 2.8 per month. But we really need another factory of food production. Now, the problem with that is that food requires chemicals and water. We can do that. We have a new chemicals mine over here. That's fine. We can build that. Sure, life is good. You can see how we've kind of stretched out our base into some weird tendrils all supporting the core. The problem is that we need more water. Right, so we have one water mine here with 600 units left. And that's pretty much it. So we need to keep expanding and finding some more water. Otherwise, people are going to be in a really bad way. We did just invent the new chemical mines, which is nice, or the mines, which is nice. Improve roads and stuff, I'm not sure I care about so much. Additional landers, no, I don't care. Water networks, there isn't any. I really want the greenhouse gas. And I like the idea of the extra storage. But I'm gonna go with the greenhouse gas because everybody wants to terraform the planet, right? That's what we're here for. So we have a scanner here, we have a scanner here, we have a scanner here. I'd like to add another scanner far away from the existing one. So throwing one down here at the bottom makes a lot of sense to me. And also, yeah, we have the two different mines. So iron mine level 2. We have the chemical mine level 2 that we could do. Again, we don't really need the chemical plant level 2 right now. And the output doesn't seem to change either. So because I just got a low level chemical plant, I think that we're good. We don't need the tier 2. But certainly, as fast as we can, we need a new scanner. And we need to find some ice. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and actually tell it high priority. Thankfully, our limitation for a long time was aluminum. And there's an aluminum mine right there. You can actually see we're actually getting into like the ice, the bottom, the bloom of the South Pole reflecting light is a little bit too bright, I would say. It makes it hard to see. But anyway, we'll get an additional scanner. I mean, come on. Going south, there must be some water. Otherwise, we're going to run into some problems. The other thing that we can do is head this way. And this is, like, if I put my mouse over here, you can see it's red. But there isn't a red on this blue. So the other thing that we got to start doing is just taking basic buildings like, I don't know, solar farms, for instance. And being like, okay, we're going to build a solar farm over here. We'll build a workers hub to kind of connect the road there. And then maybe we need another workers hub to just kind of keep us moving along as far as it can go. And then solar and just kind of leapfrogging our way that way. Just to make sure that we can get all the way over to that ice area. Because I'm getting quite worried about the state of things. If this doesn't... Oh, there is an ice! Yo. It requires a mine for ice. Thank you. And that means that we need probably some solar panels to give it power. And then a workers hub should connect it all. The other thing that we might need is maintenance. We sure will. But let's go ahead and build the maintenance like down here when the time is right. And that is going to allow us to say high level, high priority. And that should get us pretty much there. Just go to the South Pole, right? That's where the water's at. We're still going to need water in the future. So building our way out this way would be nice. But like when you have these long stretches of straight land, that's where we need technology. I believe engineering has it. Like A, the faster roads. B, the hyperloops, right? All things that are interesting. Aquatic structures. Interesting. Shipyards and ports. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. So, anyway, lots of things here. Maximum building limit. I don't even know where it shows me my building right now. We could do more space stuff as well. Right now I only have one spaceport. It's busy bringing in colonists. I don't mind getting more, unlocking more locations as well, but For now, we're here, we're moving, we're mining. I need this to be happy. I don't know. You may place this building over land or over large bodies of water. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You can't do the ice mine over water, which, I mean, makes sense. I don't think you'd drill down to the ice if there's an open body of water over top. But sick. Next thing on our to-do list is the greenhouse gas. Also, we can see our like power. See how much it fluctuates with like the time of year and the sun. We almost did hit a power limit there. So it's good that when we're building these highways, we're using the solar panels to like dot the path, because that's probably helping us. Actually, I should really look at the humidity again for the thing here and think, look, if we were building wind, we would want to build wind all through here. Look at like the wind would be crazy on both sides of these mountains. I don't think wind would be as interesting in like a low point like this. Perhaps, yeah, these waves just don't go crazy. This is crazy wind all through this section here, but we are just not built off of that. We chose the southern. It's not so bad actually. Along this highway would have been a good spot for wind. Maybe I'm misrepresenting how good it is. I guess it comes and it goes. Just a second ago it was low and now it's high. No biomes yet because everything is just polar. Temperature, not really any different. What can I say? But we are researching the greenhouse gases, so that will be here soon. All right, we've unlocked a new tab down here, atmosphere, GHG. It requires chemicals, and we know already that we have a lot of chemicals. Perhaps, though, to make sure we don't interfere with our food production line, we come down here, and then we get a chemicals mine that is kind of like bespoke, gonna serve it. There is a workers hub up here, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem in terms of servicing. It's already in our maintenance and our energy zone, so we're good there. And then the other thing I want to make sure that's happening is, did we get that ice mine? We did. I'm gonna make sure that that's set to like a priority. Oh no, it's not. Wait, what? Oh no, I just upgraded it. No. Cancel the upgrade. Just keep working. We did get our extra storage. I mean, I could do improved roads. It costs a lot of resources to build them. I don't know that we need logistics that badly. Like, to me, well, improved roads works towards a couple of cool things. I'd love to get the water going. Oxygen release plant? What does that require? More water. I'd like to go through the space tree and get some space projects up and running, specifically something like a water import. So you can see here our tendrils are going out. We are looking to connect to this water area. We do have this southern tendril coming down here. We can find more iron. The water is the thing that we're the most nervous about right now. At least we do have this mine. It does have some output. Oh, I did it again. I keep thinking I'm giving it priority, but really what I was doing is clicking the upgrade button. And not cool, fam. Not what we're looking for. But yeah, so that's built. And now we have our first GHG factory. And it's going to help us do a couple different things, clearly. I don't know. I think I'll put a second one beside it. And I don't know if it actually matters that, like, the humidity and the wind is carrying it this way. Or if it's just taking, like, the GHGs overall. But, you know, it is what it is. Space mirror. What does that do? Increases the temperature on the poles. Very cool. I'm more interested in... I thought I was interested in water, but I'm realizing now that it's pretty lame. Nitrogen and CO2, though. Methane. Uranium mines are upgraded or made possible by this somehow. Oh, because it needs it. Yeah, I don't know. Black polar dust would certainly accelerate things. Mirrors require a ton of glass and aluminum. Whereas this does not require nearly as much. I feel like the black polar dust is just like a freebie. So we should take that. The thing that is expensive about this is that we have to build more... more storage would be nice, but I was thinking more spaceports. And spaceports are so large that they're hard to fit, but we can still keep this close to the main hub and then take our core buildings and add a storage, and I'm going to add it between the two spaceports that we have. And that should basically put us in a pretty good spot, I would imagine. All the way over here, now that we've kind of expanded to this sector, we really do need to get our scanner to start looking for the water deposits. It might be hard to build mines because of how rugged this terrain is, but you know, one step at a time. You can see all of our rovers bringing things across. I can't even show you my mouse. Like, I'm doing this with my mouse, but down here, it, like, becomes invisible. Like, it's along this line, right? And then just, no contrast. All the bloom washes us out. That's the real reason we need to terraform, is so that we can actually see our cursor when we're hovering over our realm. We could just add some more solar farms up here. Why are you upset? Rubble. Did you get hit? Did you get destroyed by something? Oh my god. You must have got hit by an asteroid and I didn't even notice. So yeah, we'll build you back up. And then when that's done being built up, because we have a maintenance thing in this area already, I am not against just saying, hey, here's a couple extra solars. Because again, we know how much our solar dips and gets a little spooky from time to time. We really need to get like a northern colony with a bunch of solar, and that will basically levelize our dips and gains. Our water is still terrible. Our iron, a lot of this is destroyed. Whoa, what happened? Did we miss a giant freaking asteroid storm? What in the world? What in the world happened? Holy. I had no idea. Oh, there's our structure limit. We're at 80 out of 150. Not a problem. And colonists, we are at 400 out of 500. Our water is still coming down, which is kind of nasty. But the current demand is low because probably we have stockpiles. 3 of 5. 4 of 5. Oh, okay. We're just not giving them enough water. Oopsie. So then this would be a priority, but apparently my whole core base got destroyed. Do I have to? Oh, I have to click this button. I can't just prioritize them. I have to say fix it. Oh, that's really bad. That's really not good. So new building done, research complete, and new colonists arrive. I mean, if you say so, but what are the colonists going to eat? What are they going to do? Good thing we have other aluminum mines. We don't have another parts factory. We do have an extra silicon mine. So like most of the things other than like the steel factory that got destroyed and caused a big shortage, other than the steel factory, we were doing pretty good. We could build another steel factory down here where this advanced iron mine is located. The problem is that it needs carbon, but there is a carbon supply somewhat nearby. There's a lot of iron in here though. Oh, there's an iron right here. Yeah. What did I build down here? That's a basic iron mine. Yeah. I came down here for the ice and the aluminum. So we need an extra iron mine. No, we have lots of iron. We have lots of iron because our steel factory got destroyed. We need a new steel factory though. And then once the steel factory is built, we need a iron mine. So I'm going to let them kind of rebuild these things. Again, iron is a limiting factor, or steel rather, is a limiting factor for building some of these mines. That's fine. It happens. But but I'm glad to be through it. Let's have another check on our scanners. Yeah, our scanners have done a great job really going wide. We're trying to build up this scanner as soon as we can. I am going to give it high priority now. It was missing iron or steel, probably because my whole base got destroyed with an imminent impact. In 9 souls or 6 souls, all this is going to get destroyed again. Wow. That is a... it's a good thing we're getting redundancy, because otherwise this would be a really awful game. I mean, this only has like 30 more resources left in there. So we really do need another carbon mine. Holy, we do need a carbon mine. Thankfully, we have 200 carbon stored up over time kind of thing, but like that does not change the needs. So double check, are you in the solar area? No, you're not, so we'll throw a solar down up with you. And then double check, are you in the maintenance area? You are not, so we can add one of these. Get some really good coverage by putting it out here. Directive confirmed. Oh my god, we did it. Look at that, the GHG's really added up over time, baby. So we can see, like, this is the annual kind of heat coming in and out, in and out, in and out with this base temperature, right, on top of the CO2. And now, I don't even know if black polar dust is needed because we've heated the planet that the runaway greenhouse effect should be melting things out. So I'm going to keep going down the... It's either engineering... You know what? Give me the improved roads. I really like the idea of getting to these aquatic structures in the future. But to get the aquatic structures, I need to build water. This extracts water from bodies of water. And then this packs the water into cubes. Yeah, I want water on the planet. Let's come over here and do 4 more spaceports allowed. That seems like overkill, but fine. This is the buildup. Continue heating the planet to melt the permafrost under the regolith and raise the atmosphere. Wow, we had no atmosphere before, and now we are pushing. We are pushing it up. Oh my god, we're at 50 and we need to get to 300. And it's almost all going to be carbon dioxide, you can see. It's mostly black, and that's because the carbon, the frozen carbon around the poles has melted as part of us heating the planet to minus 50. So that's a huge terraforming bonus. But now we have to keep heating the planet. And now the bloom doesn't wash out. Oh my god, we're going to get hit by another asteroid down here. Wow. And some of these are still broken? Apparently I didn't click the button on all of them because I wanted certain ones to get repaired first. But then I forgot to come back. So more asteroids coming and blowing us up. That's a sad life. We have a scanner out here. We have a level 2 ice drilling mine available. That's going to be very helpful because we've been kind of strung along for a while. Even though the water has to come a long way, it's still better to make the food here because we can get the chemicals around here as well. So let's go ahead and make another food plant. And do we have a lot of chemicals? We really don't. So we need a deep well chemical mine as well. And then we can look at our load on our rovers, right? And you can see these rovers down here really need some help. Though I do have additional workers hubs, so if they, instead of putting a worker here, they could have put it down here. That would be a lot more efficient, but that's not the life we're living. Also, apparently, this guy here is the whole planet because he doesn't get a zone drawn. Maybe it's too big. I don't know. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of things working out here. This is not even built yet. Wow. No, it is built. So I need to go to my space projects. One of my space stations is bringing in people, and that's great. That can be ongoing forever. But Sector 4 is where I wanted to expand to forever. So now we have a mission to colonize that using one of our spaceports. And that will give us access to, I believe there's additional resources. Not really. Sector 4 is pretty weak for mining, but it's right on the edge of us getting this research outpost, which apparently is in the red zone, not the clear zone. So, yeah. So that's where we're going to go. I think that we needed more aluminum as well, don't we? It was such a bottleneck for so long, yet we still only have 2. So let's go ahead and add aluminum to the list. That's upping our power demands quite a bit. You can see it steadily coming up. So we wouldn't... I know I'm just queuing lots of things, but basically this wouldn't be a bad time to keep adding up the solar. Now the solar down here says it's 90% efficient, but that's just because of the time of the year. It's terrible. Like, we should have more solar as north as we can go because it's less impacted by the seasons. But you know, it is what it is, basically. Did this stuff get hit by that asteroid yet? Doesn't look like it, or at least it didn't get completely destroyed, so the maintenance station was able to fix it. We've got a shallow vein here as well. We may as well get the any water that we can out of this area. That is close enough, apparently, to connect. So another solar here, though, just to really add to it. And that's all going to be within range of that maintenance facility that we have here. So we're feeling pretty good about that. That's really going to help. In fact, just for the sake of making roads even better, let's connect this water straight through using one more hub. It's pretty redundant, but redundancy is quite helpful, actually, in this game. Again, like with this long road, looking at our overloaded core here of people trying to move resources around. I really should have given these guys their own robo-hub, basically. But perhaps we do that now. I'm just wondering if I put it here, it's just so much better connected. So we'll see what happens. It just loops everything together. Look at this heat. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. And then the CO2's coming out as well. Oh, baby. So we hit the dip, and then we're just really coming up. I guess it came in here. This is where the CO2 got added to the heat. So O2, ozone, would probably be a good thing to add. Okay, we got a Sector 4 completed. This is like... I don't know. I don't know how to click it. Now, there's one active. I mean, is it just... Oh, we just built the satellite. Okay, so we're good to go. Colonies, research outpost. Right there, baby. Right there. And then we double check. You are in maintenance. You are in solar. Love that. And there's a whole bunch of resources up here, too. Water, iron, silicates. I don't know how many silicates we really need. The game seems to think... The game seems to think that we're fine. So we should just let our workers work. We should have enough food. I'm not sure what the problem is. I guess it's the chemical plants that we're lacking. So let's go ahead and get a couple of chemical plants set up, just to really make sure that chemicals are not a limiting factor. I mean, we started in the middle of 3 big resource deposits, right? Chemical, silicates, iron, and then in the east we had ice. So we really, with the chemicals being basically our starting spot, we should not be lacking for chemicals. right? So having a couple extra mines means that we're not going to be limited by extraction. We're going to be limited by logistics or even storage. And if we're limited by storage, then we're in a great spot. So let's go ahead and add even one more mine and just make sure it's not a problem. And also, if we have a lot of chemicals, that could be a call for us to build more greenhouse gas factories. The problem is that our efficiency with these buildings has been low because they're not getting the deliveries they need because we're so short on chemicals. But, you know, c'est la vie. Looks like these guys are getting almost everything they need. Another thing that we can do to really make the redundancy work in our favor is build like a second hub close to it so that it's more likely that the hub division works in our favor. And in fact, we could even build another hub along here to just try and create like a little bypass for all this food and water and chemicals. This highway is being taxed. If I do get... Did I ever get the engineering faster roads? No. If I do get the faster roads, looking at those red lines allows us to really understand where they need to be. You know, maybe some in the core, but certainly where these robots are overtaxed and they have a clear throughput where they're spending almost all of their time going back and forth. That's what I'm talking about. So, with all that said, importing GHG does not seem that important to me. Comet. I don't know about the comets. Let's come back to engineering and get the improved roads while we think about what space project that we actually want to get. But right now, things are in a pretty good spot. I think I'm going to call it here. This has been a really good like first episode, about 1 hour, it looks like, from my recording software. So with all that said, we have found... Wow, I guess we can go out with a thing. We found a research location. This is the research lab that we built up on that abandoned colony. And what do they say? They hung up some great shots of the landscapes along the, you know. So we like their wallpaper. We like their landscape photography. It's very charming with their cafeteria made to look like Martian rocks. And they're having a picnic is what their lab area looks like. It's a glorified bunker without windows, so I'm guessing the visitors appreciated all these little details. So it's kind of an old school bunker that was a research outpost, or it was an abandoned somewhat colony of some kind, a mining colony. And now we're going to research and figure out what was there and use it as an additional outward base to, you know, do more Mars stuff, I guess. I don't really know why we need to be on Mars to research certain things, but, you know, it gives us another testing site for new vehicles and improved materials that we want to try out. So again, with all that said, we're about an hour in. We're mostly sustainable. The food is scaring me a little bit, but the food, I think, was just limited by chemicals and water. And with all these additional mines and chemical plants coming online, we're in a pretty good spot. For the first time in forever, we have aluminum. Our power is technically dipping a little bit low, but we have just enough built up for our solar winter here. We can see how much improvement we've been doing in terms of the atmosphere. GHGs are really bad for adding pressure, so we need to think about how we're going to add pressure. That might be a reason to do some of those space projects, but GHGs are great for adding heat. So we are cooking up the planet, working on that, and we need to add the pressure. So I hope you enjoyed. I sure did. I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.